David Spada is a successful attorney whose dream was to become a sports talk show host. Elliott Harris is a Chicago sports columnist who wanted to expand his media presence. In the next hour, they combine their talents and love of sports and women by interviewing former professional athletes and lovely ladies on sports and torts. But keeping the boys out of trouble isn't always easy, because when David and Elliott are together, they have more fun than should be legal.
Elliott, I always wonder who you're going to bring in the studio, and whenever I go to your website, ElliottHarris.com, I see someone new. You meet a beautiful woman. I go, I hope he gets her for the show, and you came through again.
Well, that's my task in life, I suppose. To go to a Bulls game, stumble across a Mrs. Illinois 2012, say, hey, we do this show with David Spada. You want to come in and have a good time? And here we have Lisa Sonnenberg, the recently crowned Mrs. Illinois.
That's right. How can you miss me when I have those diamonds on my head? You can't miss.
The little, you didn't bring the tiara.
I did. I just realized.
Is one of your 4 children wearing it today?
Yeah, my 6-year-old.
Okay.
I apologize.
As long as it's getting some.
Yes.
Okay. And you have scars to prove that you are.
I do have scars.
A mom.
This one is covered. It was bleeding. This was baking cookies, sewing on Girl Scout badges. So.
Okay. And you were the mother of 4 youngsters?
Yes.
4 young youngsters.
Young.
What are their ages?
7, 6, 4, and 2 on Thursday.
Well, happy birthday.
Yes. Busy month.
So how do you keep the crown away from the girls?
Up high. Very up high. I can't reach it. We're going to get an alarm system on it pretty soon. Yeah, my 6-year-old. Actually, I got a picture of Scott wearing it the other day. My husband, I should have brought that picture.
Your husband, Scott, who is employed by the Chicago Bulls
Yes,
as the Director of Corporate Partnerships.
Yes.
That sound close?
Senior Director of Corporate Partnerships. Got to throw that senior in there.
Senior. So that means you get to sit in a suite for all the Bulls games?
That's right. He's been there 8 years, 8 seasons. So the attendance has definitely tapered off those 8 years. Kids and pregnancies and yeah.
Well,
the Bulls have gotten better, though.
Yeah, exactly. More enjoyable to watch.
And you can start bringing the kids to the game, and the 22,000 will be 22,004.
That's right.
So do the kids want to be ball boys or ball girls?
We're trying to teach them to appreciate what they are doing there, and I think they will. But right now, they just see the awesome dessert cart and a lot of energy. That's all that they care about.
A lot of sugar
and Benny, exactly. So yes, I think they will want to do that as they recognize that as they get older.
Okay. Now, before you were Mrs. Illinois, you were also a bikini competitor.
I did. I've done one show last November. Kind of a bucket list thing I wanted to do. Went in, gave it my all, and won first place.
Okay. Now you're from Utah. Do they have bikinis in Utah?
Exactly. They did, but hard to find. Very rare to find.
You were one of the Utah Utes?
I wasn't. I didn't go to Utah or BYU. My husband went to BYU, played basketball at Brigham Young University, and we met down there in school. I didn't go there, but I was in that town. I had graduated from Utah College of Massage Therapy.
When did your husband go to BYU?
He graduated high school in 96, so he went out there that next fall.
Okay.
And then he actually had a full-ride scholarship for basketball, but only did 1 year there and then served a mission for our church for 2 years. And then he actually finished his college degree, or his college basketball career at San Jose State University. Long story.
Okay.
Long story. I don't know if you have
Better
time for it.
climate.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did you get into the world of bikini competition?
I had always enjoyed working out, always my passion. And like I said, probably 10 years prior to, before I even got married, I always wanted to do a figure competition. But my coach,
Team Fab, Stacy Boyer.
Stacy, she directed me in bikini. She thought maybe I would have a little more success in the bikini than figure. So I did it. I just wanted to train, push myself in that level. And knowing me, I'm very determined. I gave it 150% and followed her instructions and kind of did my own thing. And won.
What is it with Stacy? Everybody she's training is winning their first time they compete.
Exactly. She is a good coach. She's a good coach, and I think she picks good girls.
It has nothing to do with bribing officials or anything?
Yeah. No. I hope not. Not with me. Not my case.
It didn't come out
cookies,
of your wallet?
I can make him cookies.
Okay.
I should have bribed him with that.
Now, as the mother of 4 and as a competitor, at the beginning of the week, do you cook a week's worth of food and put it in little plastic containers for everybody?
I do for me. I should have brought a picture of my fridge. My food's all portioned out. I cook it through the week. My kids are still kind of on that macaroni chicken nugget diet. And I make sure they get their balanced diet, the vegetables, but mine is the proportion, so it's ready to go, and throw it in my bag, and I'm prepared for the day, all my 6 meals.
So you let them eat McDonald's?
I do. And unfortunately, it used to be once a month treat. Last week, I think it was 5 times. My car started smelling like McDonald's.
That's the aftermath of the Mrs. Illinois.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, whatever you guys want.
Exactly. I don't encourage it, but hey, you know what? You do what you got to do to survive.
Now, for Mrs. Illinois, Scott got to go on stage as well?
He did.
In a bikini?
A Speedo.
In a Speedo.
No, he lucked out. He got to be fully covered, and he wasn't wearing a tux, so he looked pretty nice.
And you had on your 12-inch heels.
Yeah, my 12-inch. I towered him. I'm definitely not 6 inches taller than him, but that night I was.
Okay.
How many people were in the competition?
I competed for misses. There were 11 of us total. But there was the miss and junior miss, but with my category, there was 11.
So you couldn't have won junior miss.
No. I'd like to look like I did, but yeah, birth certificate wouldn't prove.
How does one get involved in becoming a Mrs. Illinois contestant?
Well, you need to submit your picture and a bio, and then they will contact you and let you know if you become a semifinalist. So that's all I had to do initially. And you have to be married for a year, and I believe living in Illinois a year as well. So, I've been here for 8 years, married 10 and a half, so I was fine there. And then they sent me back the semi-finalist form, and I filled out a little more extensive information for that.
So a Kardashian wouldn't basically be eligible?
Definitely not. Give her, 9 more months?
Yeah. Yeah, she fell a little short.
Exactly.
And kids you don't have to have kids to compete?
You don't. But, I think kind of makes you more well-rounded. You know what kids can do to a marriage, and it's obviously not a competition on what the better wife. But,
right.
I think I was a little more well-rounded knowing 10 years of marriage and 4 small kids is like.
Now, there's a bikini portion of that, or a swimsuit, not a bikini,
I wish
a swimsuit.
Bikini, I wish.
It was just a regular one piece.
Exactly.
And other elements to the competition as well?
The interview is 50% of your score, and then swimsuit and evening gown. That makes up your total.
And the interview is not done on stage?
No, it's a panel of 5 judges, and panel of 5 judges. So the on-stage question is just fun, kind of a fun get to know you.
What was your question?
On stage?
On stage.
What I did for a living. So I was a homemaker of 4 kids. Pretty easy.
That's it.
Yeah.
You could nail that one pretty
Exactly, yeah.
That's a job?
Yeah, it's a 3-time job.
David won't be able to go home if.
No,
I tell her that all the
exactly.
time, and she gives me the article. If you had to pay me what I do, here it says I'm worth $250,000 a year.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I remember hearing a quote once that somebody said being a stay-at-home mom is like having 3 full-time jobs, which is true, I think.
Yeah, if you had to pay your wife the wages for all the work
The
she did,
equivalent, yeah.
you'd be more broke than you are.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You think the credit card bill's bad?
Oh,
No.
It's a lot of work.
Toughest question that they asked you from the panel?
What was my toughest question? Possibly one of the judges asked my feelings on cosmetic surgeries, and that's always a tough one. You don't want to offend people. So I'd say that probably was my toughest. The other ones were more questions from my bio, so they were easy to answer.
You're pretty familiar with yourself?
Yeah.
Good. So
Yeah.
what was your answer about cosmetic surgery?
My answer was you need to feel good in your skin. And I think it has to ultimately come down to you. You're going to have critics. You're going to have people that are going to not like your decisions you make if you do any type of, superficial surgeries. So you have to be ready to take on whatever they may throw at you and be confident in your decision and just go from there.
what's your feeling on these young girls getting cosmetic surgery when they're under 18?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. At the same time, though, I've seen stories where girls maybe had like too large of a nose and it was really affecting their self-esteem. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with that. I think you want to feel good in your skin, but yet it can become a slippery slope. But you also, you were born the way you were for a reason. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Well, and then I always wonder, after the surgery, let's say it's your nose and you have it sculpted just the way you want it, when those girls look in the mirror, what do they really see?
Exactly.
Do they see the new person, or they still see the old person?
The old person, then maybe pick themselves apart more. But I think if something is bothering you enough, say a nose, and I mean it's really hard, it's affecting your self-esteem, and you do get it fixed, and you kind of put a limit to it that, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to accept every other part of me, and I'm going to love it. I think that's fine. I think that would be legit.
Okay. Now, as Mrs. Illinois, you have a platform to run on, or a cause?
I do. My platform and my drive and my message is depression awareness and mental health. They're both passionate to me. I know from personal experience I've had depression. I've had a postpartum depression, anxiety. I've kind of dealt with my whole life, and my message is that be aware of what's going on, get the support you need, and do what you need to do so you can flourish and thrive the best you can.
Okay. How difficult David and I have no idea what postpartum depression is like. We know what it is.
Yes.
But what's it like dealing with that?
It's tough. I think for me, what was hard is I had 3 kids in 3 years. I know I felt it after my third. Your hormones are just, your body isn't normal. Your hormones are going all over the place. It's intense. It's crazy. And I think even if you just had one child and you have postpartum depression, it's still intense. It's hard. I mean, you have your good and bad days, and it's hard to explain. It's just tough.
When did it hit? After the first one, second one, or third?
I noticed after my third, and I truly believe it's because my body never fully adjusted after I had my second. I got pregnant with my third when my second was 8 months old, so my body didn't recover from the hormone change and balance from pregnancy itself. So.
What did your husband say when you had the 3 in a row? Was he kind of like afraid to answer the phone every year?
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
like me when it happened to me.
Hi, honey, guess what?
The second one, I'm like, huh? And then the third time, my wife calls me, the third year, she goes, I said, no. She goes, yeah. And everybody was laughing. They said, watch out for 2006.
Exactly. Well, I remember clearly in the hospital, he had the 2 girls, and he came to the hospital with me to pick me up. I had been there that 48 hours. I mean, he'd seen the baby before, but he came to pick me up from the hospital 48 hours later, and he had said, good luck. That's all he said to me was good luck, because he knew that it was going to be tough with these 2 girls that were great, but just young ages, and then a newborn. And I mean, the postpartum hadn't really hit me yet at that point at the hospital. Well, it kind of did, because I remember I wanted to extend my stay for another week at the hospital because they were taking care of my baby and I was just sleeping.
Oh, this is good.
Exactly. So, he was sweet though, and it was hard. I think having young family is hard on a marriage, and so he had to learn as well what postpartum depression was like. He was one of 5 boys. He didn't have sisters. He didn't know what hormones were like, and his mom is tough as nails, and so it was all new to him, seeing this hormones and cranky, irritable wife. And
I couldn't tell the difference because my wife went through it after the first one, and
okay,
so we had the same thing. It was like, I said, just smile. What are you depressed about?
Exactly. That's exactly what Scott would say to me. And, he's come a long way, and I have to give him a lot of credit, because he would just say, just smile. Your dreams have come true. But that is also part of my message, is that depression and any type of mental illness is not an attitude adjustment. It's not something that you can just say, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel good. And I would get really hard on myself, because Scott would say, you've got this great life. What is there to be sad about? Then I'm saying, yeah, you're right. What is wrong with me? So, it was about 4 years ago when I started looking to it. Something's not right. I got to figure out what's going on. And then that's when I discovered all this, and it was diagnosed.
But you can't approach depression with rational thought.
No.
You can't say, look around you. Look how wonderful it is. Because you can look around and say, there's 1% that's really not good. And that's what you tend to fixate on.
Definitely. And I just remember thinking, this isn't me. Okay, yeah, I just had a baby. I understand, but I don't want my kids remembering their mom like this. And that was what kind of was my drive as well, is that, I'm not feeling my best. It's not fair on my husband. It's not fair to my kids. So I need to figure out what's going on.
And even the pharmacology of it all, you can take antidepressants, and they may work wonderful for a while. Then all of a sudden, you're back to being depressed, and the effectiveness of those drugs don't work. And then maybe they shift you to something else. And it's like, even the doctors can't guarantee you that what they're going to give you is going to cure whatever the problem is.
Exactly. And I'm grateful that you touched on that, because I don't I'm not advertising one type of method. I just think you need to find the tools that work for you. My really good friend actually is a social worker, and she doesn't prescribe medication. But I think everybody's different. Something's going to work different for everybody. If it's talk therapy, there's acupuncture. If it is pharmaceutical drugs, whatever is going to work for you, that's what you need to figure out.
Does the exercise help?
Absolutely. I work out 6 days a week, and Scott has learned that, get out of Lisa's way, she's got to work out. Because it is. But I also have learned, too, that your metabolism burns off those endorphins, those feel-good endorphins. And so you do feel good for a while, but it's not, for me, it wasn't the only solution. I had to find other tools and methods that would work for me. But exercising is my number one. I have to do it first thing in the morning, and I can't function without it.
What's your workout consist of?
Weight training and then cardio. So I work out about 2 hours a day, and I spend an hour doing weights, different body parts, and then an hour of some sort of cardio.
Okay.
Yeah, and I take those 2 hours at the trial center very serious. Watch my kids for 2 hours.
I was going to say,
let me work out.
If it was me, I would start out by running.
Yeah.
Away from home. think about coming back and probably end up back there. But yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exercise is huge. And that's why my platform is mental health as well, because I'm not just going to dwell on or just focus on depression, because there's anxiety. Anxiety and depression symptoms overlap a lot, and exercising does help with depression, does help with anxiety, but just taking care of yourself mentally. People ask me all the time, how do you do it with 4 kids? How do you have the energy to work out? I'll tell you, it's what I eat and working out. I would not be where I'm at today if I didn't take my diet very serious and I didn't work out. I wouldn't be functioning, thriving, flourishing. So, yeah, taking care of yourself mentally is huge.
Did you make your husband work out with you?
He being a Division I athlete, he's just genetically awesome. But he
not fair.
I know exactly. He works out probably 3 days a week, and he would like to work out more, but he's busy, and he actually has a back injury right now. Playing basketball with Scottie Pippen. He was at lunch playing basketball. He came down on his back.
Scottie cheap shot him?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what happened to Derrick Rose?
No, I know. Yeah, it was. But so my husband is trying to follow the same regimen as Derrick did. But his is pretty bad. My husband's is pretty bad. So he's had to lay low on the workout.
But you're the reigning MVP in the Sonnenberg household.
That's correct. But Scott tries to put me on my place and say, at home, you're not Mrs. Illinois. You are my wife. So, yeah. I just throw the crown on and say, I don't know what you're talking about.
So you say, okay, let's go out.
Exactly.
I'm putting on the crown. We're going out on the town.
Exactly.
So are you the Girl Scout mom?
I'm not.
Troop leader?
Absolutely not. I have 2 girls and Girl Scouts, and I was asked if I wanted to. I couldn't take on. I want to drop you off. I'll support you. I'll go to some of your activities, but yeah, I can't take on that.
Spare time is a commodity that does not exist in your world?
Does not exist. That gym is kind of my spare time. I go listen to my music, and no other spare time besides that.
Okay. Now, can you try to be Mrs. Illinois again, or is it a one-time thing?
I believe this is a one-time. I was talking with a friend, and they made it sound like you could do it again or possibly move to another state. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works.
Want to do all 50?
Exactly.
Forum shopping.
Exactly. I'm good with my Mrs. Illinois one time. I thought it's an honor to be able to be this far. So
next step would be for you to go out for the Lovables.
Yeah.
Because that's not time consuming at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, those girls put in a lot of time for sure.
So where's nationals at?
We don't know. We don't, but we do. We have heard that possibly June, July. They were actually set for April 11th. They changed that. We're still waiting on location and time. Hopefully, June, July-ish is what they're looking at.
Thank you so much for your time. We're getting the signal that we're out of time.
All right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Lisa
it.
Lisa Sonnenberg. We'll look for you at a Bulls game or around town.
That's right.
Just somebody wearing a tiara.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you.